Welcome. I'm Lisa Allen.
And I'm George Lucaci. You're watching Community Conversation, filmed from HTTV Studio in Summit, New Jersey.
So how many of us make that New Year's resolution of wanting to get healthier, lose more weight, or just get rid of those nagging aches and pains that you wake up with in the morning, and then shortly into the new year, all of a sudden, you're back off track? Does that sound familiar? If it does, on today's episode, we're excited to introduce you to Gloria Aaron and Jay Jacobs.
Between the two of them, they have lost over 260 pounds, and we are looking forward to learning their secret to weight loss success and their mission of building a healthier lifestyle and community.
Gloria Aaron has been a resident of Summit for over 32 years. She and her husband have raised two beautiful children here. Throughout her life, she has dealt with obesity, and 2 years ago, she made a commitment to herself to conquer that weight gain and obesity. As a result of this decision to make a lifestyle change, a transformation taking control of her mind and body, she has become passionate to share what she has learned and help others reach their desired level of well-being.
Jay Jacobs was a Final Four contestant on the NBC's Biggest Loser season and is a current resident of Summit. Jay is the Wellness Ambassador and Navigator at the Summit YMCA. Jay is an accomplished author, keynote speaker for corporate health and wellness events, strategist and navigator. Jay is committed to guiding individuals and families of all ages to their desired level of well-being through community leadership. He works with different companies to build a well-being culture within the organization. Welcome, Jay.
Thank
welcome,
you.
Gloria.
Thank you. Thank you
Oh,
for
it's so
having
great
us.
having you guys here.
Always nice to
I've
Thank
been
you.
so
Lisa.
excited. We've had
this
so
is
many
great.
Great to be here.
conversations. I know, and we did our Facebook Live a little while ago. When was it? December?
Yep.
September.
Oh, September.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Where does the
Goes
time
fast.
go?
Right?
I know. So we're really excited to have you sit down and talk about your background and expand on some of the work we've already talked about.
Sure.
I think your story, for the community is really important because even though you're an integral part of the community, not enough people know about the program that you've initiated here.
Sure.
Yeah.
So maybe tell the story.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
it's
start with-
I think it's rather fascinating, especially the way you put it as far as gaining a ton.
Okay. So I've actually been a New Jersey resident for quite a while. My wife and I met in New York, went to school together, but we've lived in New Jersey for a long time. We lived in West Orange. Being a Summit resident for the past 2 years has been fascinating because I really never thought I would be connected into a particular group of people because I would travel all over the place. I would come in and out of wherever I lived. What I love about being here is what I found is it's almost like what happened to me on Biggest Loser. Biggest Loser is a very exciting show. It makes for a great, it's like a caricature of what's possible for people. But really what I got from it was there's an opportunity for people to watch something like that and then make a transformation in their life. So my daughter Jennifer and I were on the show almost 9 years ago. And not only did I lose over 180 pounds, Jenny lost 100 and almost 20. While I was away, my wife lost at least 100 pounds. And then there was like a ripple effect within our family, my sister, my brother-in-law. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I learned was that when you see somebody on a reality show or you see somebody at the Summit Y or at a gym or outside walking, you see the person. But what I found is that the people that actually make a transformation are connected to other people. Very rarely is somebody successful on their own. Somebody someplace is supporting them, connecting to them. So when I moved into Summit, at the time I was a member of Planet Fitness over in East Hanover. And a good friend of mine, Ann Britt, had said, you really should check out the Y. Because she knew I was committed to helping people and getting better. And she's like, why don't you go see that? And I was like, I don't know if I want to go to the Y. I had a view in my mind of what the Y was, and it didn't seem to be what I thought was going to be helpful for me. Fast forward 2 years later, what I love about it is it's literally a community of people, and every kind of class and every kind of a fitness opportunity that somebody can experience. And the sense of community is powerful because it's from little young kids to families to older generations of people. And what I've found is there are people of every shape and size and every ability to be able to really have a whole different wellness approach. That's what Biggest Loser was about. You would see people like myself who was over 400 pounds and other people that had all kinds of physical challenges or were on medication. against all odds, week by week, you would see these people make a transformation. Now, what most people didn't really realize was it wasn't just people overweight and out of shape just being thrown against a wall and they fall apart. It was very medically based. They paid attention to what was going on. So when I see people a lot of times when I'm speaking, they'll be, if I could only get on that show, it would change my life. The reality is that yes, it can, but for the most part, like most of us, we'll be on a diet or a plan or whatever, and then we kind of go back to the way we were before. So what I've been able to find for myself, what you're going to hear from what Gloria's done and the other people that we work and support, we're not putting people or trying to get them to be on a diet. We're not trying to get them to exercise in a particular way. We're getting them to share with us what their challenges have been, what's the life that they're leading right now, and as long as they stay connected, we're going to find a way for them to make a transformation. So as much as it is, yes, we can prescribe what you can do and how you can do it, we really focus on their thinking, and we are there for them to be supported. And that was what Biggest Loser was about. And it's actually Biggest Loser after being on a hiatus for 2 years. It started last Tuesday, and it's on every week on Tuesday night on USA Network for the next 7 weeks. So that's kind of I could tell you all kinds of stories about it, but bottom line, the big takeaway, why I love what's going on here at the Y, what we're doing with navigating, connecting to individuals, supporting individuals, and putting them in an environment that supports them in their lifestyle, making a change.
Yeah. So there's a certain self-consciousness that they lose by being part of the community that you're establishing right now.
Right.
Gloria, maybe your story as well.
So, as Lisa said in her intro, I've always battled with obesity. Our family has always battled with obesity my entire life. And I was thinking about it over the weekend to make sure I had that right in my head. I think I've lost a significant amount of weight 3 or 4 times before in my life, and I've always gained it back and gained back more. And after about 3 years of pneumonia, bronchitis, and all kinds of stuff, winters in a row, I decided 2 years ago it was time to get healthy again. Because I knew that when I was lower in weight, I did not have those types of illnesses in the winter. So I decided once and for all, I was going to make that commitment to myself and lose the weight and keep it off forever. And I always felt, because I'd been through it and our family had been through it, that I knew what to do. So I didn't go on a diet or anything. I was like, okay, I know what to do. I'm just going to start doing it. But the program of navigation at the Y, I said, you know what? I'm really committed to doing it this time. Let me try this out and see if I can get anything that I've never known before. And boy, did I learn a lot in those 6 months, would you say?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. I lost the 85 pounds. I started exercising every day, started eating healthier. But really more important was getting through my head. Like, I was very consumed with why I gained it back before. And there's like a lot of stuff in my head that I realized was just really all in my head. And that was really preventing me from keeping it off and really having this sustained lifestyle. And it was really a lot of my thinking, more so than anything else,
Looking forward.
that really changed for me, and realized that I've always actually been interested in this. Like, I've always, like, my kids would always say to me, why are you always Googling this stuff? I was always interested along the years, like, what's a better way to eat this or eat that? So it was always something I was interested in. So this is just taking
it to the
next level.
What
Yeah.
were some of the things that you were thinking that were in your mind that were holding you back? Because it's all about your beliefs driving that behavior.
Right. I think biggest for me was that fear that if I did lose it, I was going to gain it back again. And very consumed with why I gained it back. Like, I was always had to figure out, like, what made me get it back? Like, I would always say to Jay, why did I gain it back? Like, what was wrong with me? Before we started talking, actually, I don't even know if I ever shared this with you, but I was very angry with myself because the last time I had lost weight was around 2011, and my dad was very sick. And one of the things for him was that he was obese his whole life, and his body just couldn't handle from all the effects of the obesity and what he was dealing with at the time. So I was very angry with myself that, knowing and living this, like, why did I, as we call it, the wheels come off and gain the weight back? And I was very consumed with it. I'm very angry with myself for doing that. And I had to overcome all, like, just let it go. Like, it happened, and things happen, and you're going to be fine.
So it's really, you're dealing with a lot of things that are implicitly psychological, like fear of failure.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what maybe one of the issues that you had as well. Tell me how large the organization has gotten, the movement, if you will, has gotten.
Sure. What's been interesting, one of the tools that we use at the Y, and also we use when we go meeting with companies corporately, is what's called an in-body body composition analyzer. And when I mentioned earlier about on Biggest Loser, there's a whole medical background. Before we got on the show, like as a point of reference, my daughter and I were auditioning out of like 250,000 people. That when the show was at its height, it was that popular. So to get to the point where you were weeded down to say 50 contestants, we all flew out to LA. From that 50, our season got down to 22. So you went through all kinds of medical testing, everything you could think of. And one of the things that they did was an IDEXA machine. An IDEXA machine is where you lay on a bed and it scans your entire body, and you get literally like a financial analysis. You know what your assets are. And so what your assets are, quite frankly, are your lean muscle mass, your percentage of body fat, your hydration, your bones, like the parts of your body, like they're investments. And so it doesn't really, what I tell people when we get people at the Y on the in-body machine, there's no good or bad numbers. I have to spend a lot of time getting people to quit making themselves wrong, because everybody that I talk to, they could give me a list of everything they did wrong, every reason they're going to fail. Gloria was a great example of why. I don't want to go back. Like, it's very normal. So everyone comes in with why they're wrong, why they're broken. My role is to say, no, we just are going to look at what that is. So I've done about maybe over 5,000 of these composition consults with people. So after a while, it's kind of like you can get a sense and a reading of where they're at. But what happens is the numbers, it would be no different than getting a bank statement. The numbers give them, for the first time, a point of reference they never saw. And when I'm speaking to them, or we're looking at what happens week to week or month to month, we get a chance to see what happens for them. Because what I will tell you is, like Gloria said, she may know, but she doesn't know what's going on subconsciously, and she also doesn't know how her body will react. So as you guys know, there's all kinds of plans. There's Whole30, there's Paleo, there's Keto, there's XYZ, there's weight. It doesn't matter. There's a million different approaches. But you have to see, is this something that my body is working with? Is it my body's reacting in a particular way? And as much as I'm a big fan for people moving and exercise, the same thing I would say to people, look, no different than we don't say on our deathbed, I wish I spent more time at the office. I also say, you don't want to say, I wish I spent more time at the gym, because that isn't living life, just to be in a gym and like, almost like beating yourself over the head that I'm not a good person if I'm not here. So we're looking for, where are you? What is the balance sheet of where your assets are? And then let's see what happens when you're doing something. Is it working, not working? And that's why it's been interesting, because I've always been able to share things with people, but until I actually had some real numbers in front of them, that isn't just their blood pressure and just isn't their cholesterol. But for the first time, people start to get related, like, I never knew I actually had muscle. Like, people think when they need to lose weight, they need to lose all their weight, or they need to lose all their fat, or whatever. They don't, but they have a distorted view of it. So to answer that question, I think that's been a game changer, because I don't care who I've ever had it, even the people I've had people that took a year before they were, in their mind, brave enough to look at it. And a lot of times they're like, oh, you know what, I'm pretty good. They don't realize they're better than they think they are. Now, what will happen is, the other part that happens is the muscle will be, they'll be successful, and I'm like, they don't want to almost own their success. That's kind of what was happening with Gloria. It took her a long time for her, like, Gloria, you're doing great. But what if I go backwards? Gloria, you're doing great. But what if and people, she's no different than other people.
It's almost like you didn't want to celebrate because
Exactly.
you were you were
she
fearful
knew she knew she was going to fail. Everyone that does this, they know they want to do something, but they know they're going to fail. And it's sort of like, no, you don't have to, and it's not necessary unless you just keep that up. And that's really what we're making a change. It's the thinking part.
I think also that people, to the point of the in-body machine, is that people think of, I'm overweight, it's fat.
Right.
They just make that conclusion. And I think we're programmed. We hear about BMI and you have to lose weight, and BMI and you have to lose weight. Yeah. But many people, it's muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, so, they don't realize it. Yeah.
Well, and talk about the visceral fat,
Sure.
just for briefly, because I think that's really. I'm almost afraid to go in and do that machine and find out, because you said it could be worse.
I've done it. It's amazing.
Is it amazing?
I mean, for me, as I mentioned to you guys, I thought when I saw it, wasn't so much the muscle that kind of hit me; it was that visceral fat number. Yeah. And when I first got on it, my number was a 20.
And explain for the viewers, what is the visceral fat and what does that number mean?
So visceral fat is the fat that surrounds your organs. And that's the fat that can predispose you to diabetes and all of the health risks that we hear about in the news. So it became very important to me. Like I kind of lost sight in a sense of the weight I was losing because I was more focused on watching that number come down. And it takes a long time to get, well, for me it took a long time to get off that 20 number. And we came to realize that for that report, the highest it goes is 20. It could have been 25, it could have been 30, who knows what it was.
Right.
So when you break that 20, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like,
yeah.
it
That's
was like
success.
a new world. That was like, holy crap, I got down below 20. And then you can see it move. So it could have been moving all along. You just didn't know because it maxed out at 20. But that was just for me, that became more of my focus than the other stuff. Because the other stuff happened, but watching that come down to a more healthy level was just really.
I mean, there's a whole waterfall approach towards doing this. For example, how do you now feel about yourself versus how you felt about yourself 5 years ago? And how differently do you interact with people, friends, or, as we were speaking earlier, tertiary relationships? You know, maybe you start conversations on the elevator now. I mean, I don't know.
No, it's very true. You do feel you're definitely more confident. Because you don't feel like you want to hide because, oh, I don't look good, or I don't this, or I don't that. Like my family would always laugh at me because it'd be in the middle of the summer, it'd be 90 degrees, and I'd be wearing a sweatshirt or a sweater, and they'd be like, you can't really be cold. And they would think that, but the truth was, I was like, didn't want
Hiding
people
yourself.
to see, yeah.
Yeah, and coming off those medications, that has to be empowerment. You know, I don't want to get too far off because there is something I want to bring up with you guys, that you are doing a project, a town that gained a ton, and I want you to talk about that for the viewers because this is a big movement for you.
Sure.
Right?
So based on the success we've seen of how people have started to transform their thinking and what they're doing at the Y, and just being involved in lots of different places within the Summit community, we decided that we're going to launch on February 25th on a Tuesday. And the reason it's a Tuesday is because people think there's a magical thing with a Monday. There is no magical day in any wellness, but people think I got to wait till the new year, I got to wait till Monday or whatever. So on Tuesday, we're going to be launching what we're calling the Town That Gained a Ton. Now, the idea for that actually happened from a town of Field of Dreams fame, Dryersville, Iowa. In that same town, there were some nurses that were at the hospital, and they decided they wanted to get the town to lose a ton. And so that's where, for the longest time, the whole mindset of well-being was weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. It might seem ironic being somebody who's on a reality show, and it's called The Biggest Loser, and how we stayed there was we lose weight. Like, there's a whole mentality, that's what people think of. What I found for myself is how I was able to make a transformation there, and afterwards, and supporting people, I don't have a loss mentality, I have a gaining mentality. What are you going to gain in the quality of your life? So having the Embody, when we're talking to people and sitting down, since we know people are phobic about their fat, we start with their muscle. We get them to get related to their muscle. We get them to look at how they could gain their muscle. And even sometimes we'll tell people, if you're going to do more cardio, you will lose muscle, but that is not bad. It's because your body is changing its shape based upon the activity you're doing. So what we saw is an opportunity within Summit, since we are with families and people of all ages and sizes. The idea is that on February 25th, for an entire year, we're going to have people register and be part of an opportunity to gain a ton of muscle. We're looking for people to get up off the couch, to start to move, to start to become more active. And we're also coming into the spring and summer, which makes it a lot easier, you know, when we live in the Northeast. But the idea is for individuals to make a difference for themselves, for also them to see how they can connect with others within the community. And we look at this as an opportunity to create a whole new way for cities, towns, communities to start to make a change. We want to change the conversation from weight loss to really gaining a whole new mindset. So that's why we flipped the switch on that as well. So it's going to be exciting because it's not just going to be about eating and exercise. It's going to be like what you said. What are the relationships? What are the tertiary relationships? What are we doing to get people to get in conversations about their feelings and their idea? It's all of that, because it's not just eating and exercise. It's really them being part of the community, supporting their family, supporting their friends, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're really excited about it.
When's this launching?
It's February 25th.
You said that, that's right.
Yeah,
this
and
is
so-
great, February 25th.
February 25th, yes.
We should
And
put
did you
some
notice there were 3 T's?
But-
Tuesday, town, and
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, I love
And
that.
fun. So there you go.
There you go.
It's
We
3
have to put
T's.
signs, and we should have
will.
a big launch on this.
There
we
will
can
be.
do that.
There will be. And you guys are the first people that we were
Really
actually
know
telling
about it.
anybody
So
about.
this is like really.
We
It's
haven't even
breaking
done-
news.
You got a scoop.
Right here.
You got a
did,
scoop.
you got
Oh
the
my
scoop.
gosh, it's our first one.
You got it. You got the scoop.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Do you have a website to go to?
Right now
yet?
we have a Facebook page,
Okay.
and we have you'll see more things coming up. And as I mentioned to you before, we would love the opportunity to come back with actually people,
Yeah.
maybe some families and other people, so that you can get an opportunity to hear from their perspective what are they learning. The other part I want to mention too that Gloria has done, and I tell people all the time, if I just spend time with you and you make a transformation and you keep it to yourself, it doesn't help. So I talk to everybody. It's like, share what you're learning with others. Not that they follow what you did, but do the same thing for you to help them see that it's okay to not know. It's possible. So it's very much the idea when you hear sometimes like a Biggest Loser, people talk about paying it forward. I think we have a community of people here that already are, and we have all different kinds of people. Some people are more fit than others, but it's also a very fit community. There's a lot of families. There's a lot of people that really are trying to do different things. I think we have an opportunity here, and I love the name Summit. I mean, it's just a great, you're talking about going to
Summit,
Mount.
go on the mountain.
You're talking about going to Mount
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro,
Yeah,
George,
right.
so here's a great opportunity for us to really create something here, and then have that ripple effect happen in other places. That's why we're doing it. That's what's exciting.
I think it's really, really exciting, and I'm so, I'm impressed with what you guys have done, and because but it also gets down to things that interest me, which is obesity-related healthcare costs. And,
Oh, yeah.
and you're an integral part of this, because it's. We talked before the show. Is
Yes.
that sometimes I feel like people who are on a mission like you are almost, swimming upstream with this, and we need this.
The reason, and you're right, if you look at without being a doctor and knowing all the financial aspects, I can tell you that without a doubt, if you look at just Google it, one of the biggest factors in terms of affecting healthcare costs are all the things that being obese and eating poorly, not moving affects. It's enormous.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to get people to do crazy things. We're literally trying to take baby steps so that we all want to enjoy our food. We want to enjoy being out. We want to be with people. So it's really about a positive approach. It's not meant to be something where you can't do this and you can't do that. I can never have pizza. Like, no, it's to slow down and to savor everything you're doing in your life and living your life. What I call it is like my mission personally is to help people create a life that they love and to live it well. And what that means is it's doing the kind of work you like to do, it's being with the people you like to be with, living life well, or when I call it well-being, it's like how your life evolves and what's going on. There's nothing, I gotta tell you, having, like what Gloria said, I've probably gained and lost 100 pounds a dozen times in my life. There's nothing fun about losing weight. I'm going to tell you right now, there is nothing fun that you wake up and you go, I can't wait to lose weight. There's nothing but there is something fun about living life well and enjoying it and savoring it. And that's really the way in which we speak to people. It's not about beating yourself over the head and you're a bad person. Or the other thing I'm going to kind of share is before we started, which is very normal. You guys are going through a lot of things. You just got started. We have a lot of bloopers from when you got started because it's not easy to do this.
Don't tell anyone.
No, it's not easy.
Don't listen to
But
him.
what I was laughing about was what you guys were doing is what all of us do when we start on something. We're trying to get it right. We're trying to get it right. Now, what you guys did is you were trying to get it right, and you got it right, and you stayed with it. That's the difference. You didn't say, you know what, didn't work,
We're
everybody
out.
leave, shut down the cameras, we're going home. That's what people do. They do this. They come in, it's the Monday, they forgot something, the wheels fall off, and then they go hide. Hiding doesn't work. Never.
Right.
I didn't get to be 435 pounds because I got to the place where I started gaining weight, became ashamed of what was going on, felt bad, didn't want people to see what I was doing. And the funniest part, at that time when I was that size, if we went out to dinner, I would eat the most healthy you could ever, because I didn't want you to think I was fat.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how weird is that?
That's
But
true.
in my reality, I didn't want you to
That's
see.
very common, I think.
It is very
common,
common.
yeah.
But when we left, than I was at, Dunkin' Donuts or 7-Eleven, mainlining everything under the
We all
sun.
do it. I did it.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, and you don't have to be overweight to secret eat and feel uncomfortable
It's
with
shame.
it. It's very much shame.
Right, shame,
Yeah.
embarrassment.
Because you feel
which
like
is
you're being
intrinsic.
judged. You feel like you're being judged by what you look like.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be judged about what you're eating too.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this is inspiring.
It is. It is.
It truly is,
Good.
and I'm impressed with what you guys are doing. I can hardly wait till February 25th.
February
Where
25th.
it's launches
Tuesday.
at the Y.
Okay, so it's,
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? No, it's not going to launch at the Y. It's going to be a couple of things. There will be an opportunity for people to come into the Y on that day and to get on the in-body machine. They could come in as like a guest, get a guest pass, and they could register that way. That's one way. The other thing that we've done is we've met with the people at Trek, the new bicycle shop in town, and we've met with them. I live right around the corner there. I'm going to bring in the in-body machine. We're going
People
to
can
do
come in there.
that day. We're going to do it, and that night.
Okay.
At the Summit Public Library, we're going to bring the in-body machine because I'm doing a talk that night. So it's literally that day is the first day that we're going to start to touch some touch points in the town. And each week we're going to start to be in other places because the idea is not just one place. We want to make sure the whole town. Yeah, I'm a big Starbucks fan.
We
I'll
want
probably be in Starbucks
we want
one day.
everyone to feel like they're part of it.
and feel welcome.
Yeah.
Correct.
Really. That's really going to be
Because
important.
we also don't want people to think I don't belong to the Y, so I can't do
Right.
this. Right? You don't.
Right.
Very
because
inclusive.
we never
Right.
tell people you have to join here or be in this
No.
program, whatever. It's whatever works for them. So in order to be inclusive for everybody, we have to be everywhere.
Well, that's it. We're kind of
Right.
out of time, but thank you.
I know, but I'm excited for your kickoff, your launch on February 25th.
Correct.
And they'll be looking for you at both the Y or the library
Yes.
for that
And
first
if you
day.
go to our website, jalenjacobs.com, you can follow along and see all the dates and where we're going to be.
All right. I hope that whoever did their New Year's resolution that said
Yeah.
they want to lose weight and be healthy this year, have a wellness,
And
track
connected.
and
Yeah.
be connected.
And be connected.
They start with you.
Sounds great.
So, all right. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this segment and that this puts you on the right track for being where you want to be. For more programming like this, please check us out on our website, Facebook page, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'm Lisa Allen.
And I'm George Lucaci. Thank you for watching Community Conversation. Have a great day.
Have a great day.